This is Tokyo, Japan, a city famous for its vast web of train connections, making travel effortless. With over 36.8 million tourists visiting each year, you can probably turn a corner and find a train station. Berlin boasts a staggering 1.55 billion transit users in 2023, utilizing an extensive network of buses, underground metro trains, ferries, and trams. Both cities receive 12 to 20 million tourists annually, generating around 6.5 to 10 billion USD per year from tourism. Their success shows how a well-planned transit system can boost the economy while making cities more accessible. Welcome to Innovation House. Let's dive into how transportation can shape the perfect city. One major factor in designing a city's transportation system is the location of transportation hubs. For example, you can have transportation hubs in very high-density areas, but the thing is, this thing can cause overcrowding and traffic problems. While you can have stations very spread out, but when they're spread out, they may be inefficient and create useless stations. For example, let's say you need to travel from point A to point B. Using biking takes around 29 minutes to get from point A to point B, but using the public metro transit takes longer, which is 33 minutes total. Because you have to walk to the station, which is around 6 minutes, 21 minutes to get from the train to station B, and then 6 more minutes to reach point B from station B. This means station placement needs to be balanced and be accessible with efficiency. One example of this is Tokyo's Yamanote Line, a circular route connecting key districts like Shinjuku, Harajuku, Shibuya, and Akihabara. This design prevents bottlenecks while moving large numbers of people. However, it's also Tokyo's busiest line, leading to overcrowding and sometimes to extreme levels. To optimize transportation, many stations also integrate buses, ferries, and trams to create a seamless travel experience. There are 3 main types of transportation. There is public transportation, which includes buses, trains, airplanes, trams. These carry a large amount of people in usually one vehicle, and they move at intervals. Like in trains, they have certain time schedules for when they are going to leave the station or when they're going to arrive at a station. Next is personal transportation, which is usually like bikes, motorcycles, and cars. The thing about cars is that they're somewhat inefficient because when you're having a car, then it takes up a lot of space, and it's only for one person or a couple. But having public transportation allows you to have multiple people in one vehicle that take up that same space, transport further and farther to many more locations than just one singular car. But the thing about personal is that it's very convenient. It's always there when you need it. So if you're biking, that's another good option. It does not produce any carbon emissions, and also it takes up less space. So you're able to travel wherever you need to go without having to pay for a car, insurance, gas, and whatever. Biking is a really good option, and that's why we should probably include it in most cities. Lastly is private. Private is like delivering items or goods from companies or factories to stores and commercial areas. These is really important because it helps our products get from where they need to go fast. For example, you can have ships carrying supplies over to different countries or have airplanes also do the same thing. Private, public, and personal transportation makes up all transportation you'll usually see, and that's why they're very important to count. Now, let's design the ideal transportation system. First, for our city, we'll have an underground metro. This metro will have 3 main lines. First line is the West Line, which is line 1. Next one is the East Line, which is line 3. And then lastly, we have the Overzetten line, which is line 2. This acts as the main connector, kind of like what glues each line together to make a connected system. I'll have a station called Takai Station. The Overzetten line will serve as the key intersection on the station, allowing smooth transfers. Additionally, there will be an outer Overzetten line, similar to Tokyo's Yamanote Loop, ensuring continuous movement. There are 3 reasons why this setup is efficient. Number 1, each line serves a specific area to minimize travel time. Number 2, the Overzetten line reduces transfers and provides alternative routes. Number 3, navigation is made simple, which encourages ridership. Number 3, navigation is made simple, encouraging ridership, especially for tourists. To further boost public transit use, we'll introduce a Metro reward system, offering free rides and MetroCard points. Lastly, we have bus network and accessibility. Above ground, buses will conveniently place near neighborhood and metro stations. Since our city is compact and dense, bus stops must be placed strategically. There will be key features to our bus stops, which will encourage ridership. Number 1, no hostile architecture. Hostile architecture may seem a little bit too aggressive and may discourage people wanting to go to stations. Hostile architecture is to prevent homelessness by making very harsh sleeping areas, so you can't sleep on benches, foot areas, wherever. It makes it so that it's hard to stay there for a long period of time. But this doesn't look nice, and this makes it look like it's very forceful in a brutalist style way. So one way you can fix this is just implementing laws that make it so that you cannot sleep overnight. And in this city, we'll make it ideal by trying to provide homes for these homeless people so that they'll all have a place to live. Next, we'll have comfortable stops with seats, shades, heaters, and trash cans. These are common necessities that every bus stop needs. Next, we'll have summer amenities like mist dispensers and vending machines. These ensure that our customers or whatever riders are going to be on the buses will have a good time waiting for their bus. Lastly, bike storage and umbrella bags to encourage public transit use. These additional features makes public transit look very beautiful and look like it's a better experience. In addition to our reward system, this will be a good way to encourage ridership. Hopefully, ticket sales can help cover these enhancements to bus stops because these are not cheap. So hopefully by city funding and correct spending, we can able to personal and private transportation. This includes bikes and scooters, encourages bike dedicated lanes and parking areas for these bikes and scooters. Cars, discouraged with high toll prices and limited lanes. Cars are not great for a city, especially for car-oriented areas, because cars produce emissions and they also take up a lot of space, especially in parking. So if we discourage cars but encourage public transportation in bikes and scooters, we're able to create a system that is efficient with space and keeps the city highly dense. Lastly, private freight vehicles. This is important because we also want to keep the private sector in our city. We want to encourage this commercialism in our city so that we can have some sort of growth. We also have to encourage the purchase of products and the trade with other cities or countries, whatever. We'll do this by adding tags to certain vehicles or certain license plates to ensure that when they're paying tolls, it's cheaper and they have a separate lane for safety. This will encourage companies to use these freight systems, which will encourage commercial. How do you like your city's local transportation system? Let me know in the comments down below. See you in the next episode. Bye!